Grand Rising Divine Legend. We are doing an hour class this morning to attune to our body. So you want to lay back on your back. Bend your knees, widen your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Allow your knees to knock together. Wiggle the low back into the mat. Pay attention to your shoulder blades, that they're nice and flat and weighted into your mat. Maybe even wiggle around so you spread them a little more. Notice that the neck is nice and long. The chin is slightly tucked. You're not lifting the chin and crunching the neck in any way. So just pay attention that you're lifting your head just a bit to tuck that chin and lengthen the neck. I like to remove the hair from behind my neck, take it up. And then your hands can be at your side, or I invite you, because we are in an hour of attuning and noticing the body, I invite you to take one hand on your abdomen area and the other hand on your heart. And begin to breathe into your body. Taking long, smooth inhales through the nose. Filling the lungs, filling the belly rise. And then part your lips and awe the breath out audibly. And do that a few more times on your own. Noticing the shoulders lift, the belly rises, the chest puffs out with the inhale. And everything sinks back toward the ground with the exhale. Take our last cleansing breath together. And then we'll keep the breath in the body by breathing in and out of the nose. Again, noticing the rising of the belly and the chest, your hands lifting a bit with the body as you inhale. As you smoothly exhale through the nose, just noticing that body sinking back toward the earth. You're arriving on your mat. You're allowing the breath to take you into that parasympathetic system. We're letting go of anything that came before class, anything that might come after, and we're arriving into the present moment with our breath and noticing our body. Just staying with the breath, trying to allow thoughts to come and go, not focused on them at all. Paying attention to how the breath comes cool through the nose on your inhale, and how it's a bit warm when it leaves your nose on the exhale. Maybe increasing the strength of the breath by feeling that little bit of vibration on the back of the throat. We call this the wave breath, the big wave breath. We hear it like an ocean wave on the back of the throat. Trying to extend that exhale longer than the inhale. That's dropping you into your parasympathetic. You have a few more breaths here. Your parasympathetic system. Calming the mind. Connecting back deeply into the body. And while we're here in this breath, just set an intention, set your intention for this practice, for this next hour, for your body, for your experience. Maybe it's to hold compassion for someone else in your life, staying in the present moment through the practice with the breath. We'll close up this intention with one hum. It will be an open mouth Om. You can go right away to the closed lip hum part of the mantra. When we take the inhale, you want to see your intention at the very top of that breath as we hold the breath for 1 to 2 seconds before we take that mantra hum, closing the intention. And again, you can close the lips right away to your hum if that's what feels right for you. Taking a big inhale, seeing your intention at the top of that inhale. And Om, humming it out. Om. On your next inhale, reach your arms overhead, lengthen your legs long, point your toes, hook your thumbs together, and take a couple breaths here. Feeling that low back pop off the mat, feeling the nice big stretch to the front of the body, the whole body lengthening from one end to the other. Last breath here. Next inhale, take your upper body to your right corner of your mat. You're going to scoot your hips towards your left long edge, and your feet will scoot toward that bottom right corner. You're making a big banana with your body, getting a really big side body stretch on that left side. Breathe into that. Inhale through center to the other side. Upper body comes to that left corner. Hips scoot to the right edge. Feet to the lower corner. Breathe into that. One more breath. Inhale comes through center. We're going to wiggle that low back into the mat again. Hands will come down by the side. And we're going to take our legs up to the sky. So you're going to point your heels straight up to your ceiling, your sky. Toes are flexed, spread, so the whole leg is engaged all the way down to your glutes. We're going to tighten the belt around our waist. We're turning on our core to begin our practice. We're noticing what our body needs right now. You may need to stay flat on your back, extend your arms out by your side, spreading the fingers, and just stay right there, knowing your core will turn on with our next movement. If you know you want more to start your practice, you're going to lift that upper body, keeping a slight cutie. Let me spread it so you can see this. Cutie orange right here underneath your chin, so that you're slightly tucked, but not pulling the chin all the way into your chest. You want to keep that neutral neck through your spine. So imagine that cutie orange, but your gaze does go toward the belly. And that is good alignment right there. Heels up, toes spread, arms out, fingers wide. And we take an inhale. And we lower the right leg with the exhale slowly. We hover it over the mat when we get down to the bottom, and we take one full breath here. We release everything to the ground. We take a breath. And we go again. And you decide, flat back or lifted. Taking an inhale. Left leg lowers with the exhale. Hovers an inch over the mat. And take another breath. Release to the floor. Take a breath. Two more rounds. And you get to decide if you're going to do one leg at a time again, or both legs with me. Flat back or lifting that upper body. Spread those fingers wide, reach past those thighs, take an inhale. Exhale, lowers one leg or two. We hover over the mat an inch and we take 2 breaths. And we release. Take a breath. I'm going to scoot back. I can feel I came off my mat a little bit at the bottom there. Last round. Heels up. Flat back or lift. Spread those fingers wide. Take that breath. And lower. Two breaths. And release. Core is fully on. We're going to take those knees into the chest. We'll hug behind the knees. You'll rock across that low back just a little bit of massage on that low back, breaking up the myofascia on the surface. And then right away, you'll cross your ankles and we're going to rock up into tabletop. So you're going to rock yourself up and come right onto those hands underneath your shoulders and your knees right underneath your hips. Finding a flat back here, we'll begin with some cat-cow breaths. So you want to soften your elbows and spin them forward on your inhale, lifting the chin, lifting the tailbone. As you exhale, you're going to push the floor away and those elbows can come back out to the side and the creases in your elbows can point toward each other. And so you're sort of rotating through the shoulder with this motion as well. So the inhale, the elbows spin in, the chin lifts, the tailbone lifts. On the exhale, those elbows come, spin back out. We push the floor away. We scoop the belly and we tuck the chin and just keep flowing with the breath through those two movements. If you want to put a little more into this movement, you might tuck your toes on the inhale and maybe even pull back slightly into that child pose position as though you were going there on the exhale, just adding a little bit more movement as it feels good in your body. And then I'm going to add a little bit even more here, bending my elbows slightly, coming into almost that half push-up, beginning to really turn the arms on. Those elbows are skimming the body right as they come down, and I'm just moving a little bigger with the breath here. Warming the body up. Articulating the spine. Waking up all the joints. Couple more. And we'll meet in neutral position, flat back, tabletop. And let's stretch our wrists and our feet a little more before we go on. So I'm going to tuck my toes to start to stretch the feet. And I'm always going to reach back and pull my 4th and 5th toe out. My 5th toe, pinky, doesn't even touch the floor, and that's okay. We just allow the body to be. Once I've got as many toes ungripped as I can, I'm going to also remember that this is intense on the feet, and I can pop up off those heels, but stay tucked. The feet will stay stretching, but it's not as intense. And I point that out because we're going to be down there for a little bit as we stretch our wrists out. And if I'm down there longer than you want to be, this is where you're going to come. You're going to pop up and you're going to give yourself a break. Because I'm reminding you, Divine Legend, this is your practice as well, and you got to make it work for your body. I like to give lots of options and you take what you like and you leave the rest. So shoulders soft away from the ears. Belt is tight around the waist. I'm going to sit my hips back to stretch these feet even more intensely and spread those arms out wide in front of me. Fingers are spread. I'm crossing the right over the left. I'm turning the palms toward each other. One thumb is on top, fingers cross. I pull the arms in and out. I keep my shoulders away from my ears. My belt is turned on. I'm breathing into this deep wrist stretch. On my next inhale, I'm going to spread those fingers out wide again, uncross and lift up. And then exhale, float down. I'm coming directly to the other side while my feet are stretching out, left over right. Palms together, other thumb on top, in and out, shoulders drop, breathe into that. Next inhale, lengthen, uncross, lift up. And exhale, calm down. Come forward, pat the tops of your feet out. And we're going to start to move the legs. So hands, spread them wide underneath the shoulders, finding the tips of the fingers, the heel of the hand. Belt tight around the waist, neutral tailbone. Long neck and spine, gazing out the front edge, not tucking your chin. Take your right leg back, keep the toes connected, and you'll start to rock into your heel. Next inhale, tighten the belt as you lift the heel up, finding a little balance there. You're going to cross it over your left ankle, set the toes down. Look out in front of you, and then over that left shoulder, and you're getting a nice, again, side body stretch, noticing the hip on that right side. You might see your toes behind you. It doesn't matter. You're getting nice and long on that side body. I had you look out first so that you're not crunched down in your spine, trying to peek over the bicep. You want to stay nice and long through the spine, gazing over the shoulder, taking one more breath here. On your next inhale, you'll lift that heel back up to line up with your right hip. And then bring it down, knee under that hip. On your exhale, other side, left leg back. We hook the toes and we rock into that heel. We're waking the calf up. Tightening your belt around your waist. Inhale that heel up. Crossing over the right toes, setting down with your exhale. Inhale, we gaze out. Exhale, we look over that right shoulder. Again, holding, breathing. Maybe seeing those toes. Just finding that really nice stretch all the way down into the hip. Side seat, IT band even possibly on that left side. Last breath here. Tighten your belt as you inhale that heel back up in line with the left hip. And exhale the knee underneath. We'll wag the tail. It's hips one way, head the other. It's a way to release through the side seat hip area when we've worked there and kind of take any tension out. So wrists are something that I spend a lot of time caring for in my classes because they're some of the joints that will wear out the first as we age. So just coming back onto the heels, sitting back and rolling wrists out one direction. I'm tucking my thumb in underneath my fingers. It saves the alignment, right? This is a little safer way to roll your wrists out rather than your thumb on top. Just a little trick there. And then next we're going to come into some side plank work. Modified side plank work. And then remember, we're going a little slower in this class today. And we're paying attention. We're tuning. We're really tuning in. What's going on inside? So coming back into that tabletop position, nice neutral spine. You're gazing out your front edge so that your chin is not tucking in. And I'm going to open up to my right side so I'm facing you to start our side plank work. So this right leg is just gonna stand out to the side so that I can open up to this side of my body. Right away, I wanna make sure my shoulder is lined directly over my wrist. A lot of times in class, I'll see this, and you're out of alignment and you're really risking some injury here in the shoulder or the wrist. So really pay attention in any pose where you're using your extremities as bases. Alignment is key. Shoulder over wrist. Hip over knee. That's another alignment you want to look for. Another one that I'll see way over here, right? Nah. You're not getting what you can in the stretch and you're really risking injury. From here, opening the chest up. You're feeling this openness here in this hip area. Your neck can gaze up. Or if you need less tension on your neck, you're always going to gaze down. That's going to take tension out of the neck. And it can stop anywhere along the way as well. This top arm, spread the fingers, reach it up. Notice the shoulders are stacked on top of each other. That foot is planted on the floor, but the toes, I'm making a slight adjustment to line that outside edge up with my short edge of my mat even better. Toes forward all the way. You'll get into that side seat a little better. And then I'm going to invite you, if you desire a little more balance in this pose, tighten your belt, take an inhale, and you'll lift this leg up. Keep the toes pointing forward. Breathing into that. If that felt too unstable, just set that foot back down, right? You can do that. One more piece here for those that are really wanting to find their edge in this morning's class of tuning into the body. You're going to bend the knee up, and this hand is going to reach for the top of the foot. Once you find the top of the foot, you can press the foot into the hand and the leg will naturally lift up. Taking one more breath here in the side plank. We'll release back down into that supported side plank with the left foot on the floor. And we're going to lift up into a gate pose from here. So I want you to keep that belt tight. Use that core to lift yourself up. So good. And then we're just tipping this other way so that that left hand or that right hand reaches down that long leg. This left hand straight up to the sky. Maybe it comes a little closer to the ear. Just notice how that's increasing that crunch on your side. Taking one more breath here. And then we'll get a little bit of ab work while we're here. So straighten your torso up. Take your hands behind your head. Don't pull on the neck. Slightly resting at the bony part of your skull. Elbows wide at the shoulder height. Keep the belt tight. And we're going to inhale a side crunch to this open side. And we're going to exhale back up. Do it again. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Going to come back into tabletop. So you'll set that right arm under your shoulder, cartwheel around into your tabletop, and we're going to come through a modified high-low push-up. So I invite you to take your knees back a little more, or you can work right where you were from tabletop. But if you can find that modified plank a little deeper with me at that 45-degree angle, finding the tops of your knees, we'll take an inhale from here, nice long through the neck and spine. And then elbows will skim the body as we exhale that upper body all the way down to the mat. Keep the shoulders soft away from the ears. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Tighten your belt. Use your core, not your hands. On your next inhale, baby cobra, lift that chin, lift the chest. Exhale, float down to that 2 more times. Inhale, using the core, not the hands, for baby cobra. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Tuck your toes. Push your hips back to your heels. And lift up, down dog. First one of the morning. Taking your time to walk your dog. Bending one knee. As you press the opposite heel down toward the earth. Notice that your ears are lined up with your biceps. Your arms are completely turned on and engaged into the shoulder socket. Right, but you're not locking your elbows out. And then you're going to baby step in towards your hands. So we go slow. And we take these tiny little steps, pressing the heel down each time. So we feel that really nice stretch down the back of the leg. We tent the fingers as we come closer to them. Tiny steps into that forward fold where you will bend your knees deeply. Let the belly rest. Say no a couple times with your head, taking tension out. Say yes a couple times. Let the head be really heavy. Grab opposite elbow with your hands and maybe a slight swaying from side to side. Just releasing all the tension. Before we go to that other side, inside plank work. Come through center, let your hands drop to the mat. Take a halfway lift with your next inhale. Hands can stay at the floor or come to the shin, flat back, long neck and spine, and then exhale, fold down. You'll root down to rise up, to sweep up, to meet your hands at heart center on your exhale. Good, let's go through some half series between our sides. Take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, flat back, rounding at the bottom, bending through the hips. Halfway lift on your next inhale. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands through heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Root down, rise up, sweep up. Hands through heart center. Good. To come down, we'll take an inhale, reach overhead. Fold over. And then get your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips into your tabletop. And we'll find that side plank on the other side. So it's that left leg this time. And you notice I just turned around to give you that view of me facing you on this side. And again, just checking your alignment. And it helps to have a mirror near you, right? I've got my mirror in front of me in terms of a screen so I can see. Shoulders stacked on top of each other. I'm opening up. If I want less tension on this neck, I just turn my gaze down to the mat, keeping the belt tight, and then noticing, are my feet where they can be to get a little deeper into this? No, I got to push that heel out a little more to really line up the outside edge with that short edge of my mat. And right away, I feel that even deeper in that hip. You're taking one more breath here. If you're coming with me into that balanced pose, otherwise just keep breathing right here. If you're coming with me, belt tight, we lift this foot, we turn the toes forward, keep them forward, keep the heel pressing toward the sky. You feel that side seat turn on even more. Right, and then one more option, if you want, maybe this side feels a little stronger. If you didn't take it on the other side, doesn't mean you can't take it on this side. It just means you might have more available on this side. Taking one more breath. coming back into the side plank. And remember, we're coming up into our gate pose. So really tight with that belt, and we'll use the core to lift and just tip the other way. Hands straight up to the sky to start. That's going to be a really big side body stretch and maybe enough for most of you. Now, if you want a little more, you're pretty advanced in your practice and you know you've got that availability in your hip, you can take the arm slowly. Don't rush it. You don't want to tear anything. This is a big, big side body stretch. One more breath. And then we have that ab work while we're here. So straighten the torso up, hands behind, resting at the bony part, not pulling on the neck at all. Keep the elbows wide and lifted to your shoulders so that we're working the arms while we take an inhale, dipping into that empty space, and an exhale, pull this back up. 4 more. I was listening to the birds. I truly lost track. I think one more, or we're doing an extra one on this side. Last one here. Good, and then we're gonna come cartwheel down right into that tabletop again, and we'll work that high-low push-up. So you can work it from the tabletop or get into more of that modified plank pose. I'm moving my arms back. I can see I was out of alignment, elbows and wrists and shoulders. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lowers down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. You can tuck the toes, push the hips back to the heels and lift from there, or roll over your toes if that's in your practice. 3 breaths here in down dog. From down dog, we'll come into plank. Doing a big inhale, coming into plank pose. Noticing shoulders over wrists. You can stay on your toes, or you can drop to your knees and find the fleshy part that's at the top of the knee. Don't stay on the bony part. Like, notice I'm on the bony part right now, and I come to the fleshy part by coming into that 45-degree angle, and I'm not feeling that as much because of the way my mats are positioned. So let me just adjust my mat there and show you I'm on the tops of my knees here in modified plank. So you could work from here, going in and out, but we're going to take some little right, out, left, out, right, out, left, out. Belt is tight around your waist. And I also want you to notice that your hips are in line with your shoulders. What I don't like seeing in my classes is hips down here underneath the shoulders. You're compromising your low back. You're crunching that spine. You got to keep those hips at shoulder height with your belt tight. And we got 4 more rounds. Out, 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 out. 2 more. Out, out. Don't tuck your chin. Keep gazing out that front edge. And now we'll move through our high-low push-up. Taking an inhale, shifting forward. I drop to my knees always. As I come down, lowering, getting back away from my step. My shoulders and hands in line. And then up dog or cobra. And back to down dog, getting there how you feel right in your body, getting there. And taking 3 breaths. If child pose feels better for your body right now, take that pose instead. We're gonna work our way into pigeon pose using ab work from down dog. Again, you can do this from child pose. If you want that modification, you're gonna work from here. And I'm gonna show you quickly what that will look like when we're in this movement. So we'll take a three-legged dog. From tabletop, it'll look like this. You'll draw your knees into your nose. Excuse my wall. You'll take it wide, right? You'll draw it across body. So that's how you're doing it modified in your tabletop. If you're with me in down dog, let me roll my wrist out here real quick before we come into that movement. It's a strong movement, creating a lot of heat before we get into our deeper hip stretch. And it's some real quick ab work that I can get in here as well. But you have to know you can hold a strong down dog and move into that plank to down dog with agility, strength, and control. And if you don't have those, no shame in dropping that knee down, getting into tabletop and doing those movements with that control, agility, and strength from a different position. So it's working smarter, not harder. That's what I'm really trying to teach here. And that you are not doing less by modifying your position. You are actually saving injury in the body. You are working very smart with what you got. And I honor you for doing that. So I encourage you, listen to your body, listen to what you need. All right, here we go. So tabletop or down dog, and we're gonna go working the right leg. So bring, if you're in the down dog, bring your left foot a little more toward the center. That will help you steady through these movements. And as you inhale that right heel up, keep the hip turned down. Don't open the hip. Exhale, knee to nose, plank pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, wide to your right elbow. Inhale, three-legged. Exhale, cross over to your left and hold. From here, draw the knee back towards your right hand. Set the leg down. You have your left foot, you're scooting your hips back. You have your left foot somewhere between your left hip and your left hand flexed. Flex that foot, protects the ankle, protects your knee. This back leg, peek behind you to notice if it's coming straight out of your hip. A lot of times when we scoot back into pigeon, this leg can be off at an angle. You're compromising in your hips. You want that leg straight back from your hip. And if you have tools, if you're really tight in your hips, this can be where a block can go, right under here, to keep these hips even. Because a lot of times if we're really tight here, we're way over here, right? We can help prop that hip up, get this hip even. And before we sink down, right, hands underneath the shoulders. You can take a big inhale. You can even look up, lift the chin, feel that good stretch to the front body. And then exhale, melt yourself down into your pigeon pose. I'm folding my arms up so that I find a little pillow for my forehead right away. I know that's what I need today. A block can also lift the floor up to your head if that's what you need today. Right away, increasing the breath, long inhales, long, smooth exhales. And then if it feels right to you, either on your arm or your block, you might turn your gaze, just side to side, taking some tension out of the neck while you're down here. You got a couple more breaths. We hold this pose sometimes longer than you want to, trying to get deep into those hips, into that psoas area. While we're down here, you're gonna walk just slightly toward that bent knee. So the upper body comes a little bit over to that right side. Stay low. Stay heavy in your head. Breathe into that. Last breath. Good, and you'll come back through center. Hands under the shoulders. You'll inhale, lift up again, looking up, gazing up, chin up, big stretch through the front body. And then we'll come back into tabletop, not down dog. So what you want to do is that back leg is going to draw up, right, into a tabletop, knee under hip as you draw this right leg back and circle it out. Just open it up from your tabletop here, making big circles, opening that hip back up. And then we'll come to that other side. So you are choosing whether you're going to work from your tabletop or your down dog. Go there now. From down dog, the right foot steps a little closer to the center. Just steady yourself. Inhale that left heel up. Exhale, knee to nose, plank pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Wide to the left elbow on your exhale. Inhale, three-legged dog. Cross the body to that right elbow, hold. And then draw it over and set it down and set your pigeon up on this side. Same cues, just peeking back, making sure. Flex the foot here. Maybe a block under that hip. Feel really tight. And then before you melt down, you want to take one big inhale. And then melt yourself on your exhale. And again, using those props around you to lift the floor to you as you need. Right away, finding that long, steady, smooth breath. Maybe beginning to turn the head back and forth. If that feels good. Otherwise, just stay steady and hold. Connecting with the breath. We'll move the upper body slightly to that bent knee. It's not a big movement. It's just a little scooting over of the upper body. It goes a little deeper into that IT band on that bent leg. Last breath here. Come through center. Hands under the shoulders. Again, inhale, lift up. Maybe the chin lifts. Maybe the gaze lifts. And exhale, release. We'll come into the tabletop. So that back knee comes in, right under the hip, and we draw this left leg open and big circles, one direction, then the other, releasing that hip all the way. We're going to get a good shoulder stretch here. So I'm going to face you so you have a better view from your tabletop. Keep the hips over the knees, hands under the shoulders, tighten your belt. We'll inhale our right arm up to the air. So sweep that right arm up with the inhale. And then thread it through. We're coming into a big shoulder stretch underneath that left arm. Head all the way to the mat. You're on the side of the shoulder. This left hand can stay right here. It could reach up to that short edge of your mat, if that feels good. You could also half bind if that's in your practice. That would be lifting the hand and turning the palm away from you and finding the back of your hand somewhere on your low back, possibly that opposite hip. Breathing into the shoulder opener. Left hand comes under the shoulder if you moved it. Next inhale, we'll sweep that right arm back up. Tuck the thumb, roll the wrist out one direction, then the other, and then set that arm underneath your shoulder, other side. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale, thread it through all the way, coming on the shoulder, coming onto the side of the head. Right arm can move up to that top edge. Or lift, turn palm away, and find somewhere behind the spine, maybe that opposite hip. Finding a deeper bind there, opening both shoulders with the breath. Bring that right hand back under the shoulder. Inhale that left arm up into the air, tuck the thumb in, roll the wrist one direction, then the other. And then we're going to come onto our seat. So just right away, find your legs sweeping out from underneath you, find your seat, finding nice and tall through the spine. We're going to right away draw that right foot into the inner left thigh. Nice and long through this leg, keeping those toes tucked, flexed, and drawing toward the face so that the whole leg is engaged. Hips are pointing forward, long neck and spine. We'll inhale, arms overhead. We'll fold down onto this leg. Let your hands drop wherever they do. That's not what's important. Keep your chin lifting, your heart pointing forward. We're stretching the back of the leg here. We're going to twist out of this. So as you inhale, you're going to twist right away over to this right side. Don't pull yourself into the twist. Let that left hand rest on the right knee. Look over the right shoulder. Nice and tall through the spine as you inhale. And then twisting from your waist on the exhale. One more breath. We're going to get a big side body stretch again. You want to open this leg up a little bit, about 45 degrees from where it was, drawing this foot back next to that thigh. So we're going to get a big twist here. You're going to anchor this left arm inside of this left leg. You can grab hold of the ankle, the big toes, the pant, right? That grip can help you feel a little more secure here. This elbow is pressing against the inner thigh. From that position, you want to start to twist open from your waist. You're twisting down here first before this arm ever moves. Get your big open twist here, and then this outside arm can reach up straight up to the sky, or very slowly bring that over the ear. Go slow. Again, you don't want to tear anything. This takes it really deep into that right hip. So just breathing into that. To come out of this, we're going to lift all the way up. Oh, no, we're not. Listen, we're going to fold down. I forgot. We're going to start from here. We're going to fold down over this leg, fold down here, take a breath. We're going to flow, one of my favorite two movements. From here, we'll lift up. This right hand is going to anchor behind your right hip. You're going to look back, and maybe this left arm reaches up, and that's as far as you go today. I invite you, if you have it available to you, you're going to press into both of the feet and press your hips forward as you reach that left arm back. Modified wild thing. And we're going to flow this. So we're going to inhale as we fold down this leg. And then we're going to lift up. And Reach that left arm up, maybe push the hips out on the exhale. We're gonna flow that 2 more times. We'll release. We'll take our feet wide to the edges of the mat, hands behind you, toes pointing, or excuse me, fingers pointing forward, and just windshield wiper your knees side to side. It's gonna release that tension through the hip area. And then we'll come to that other side right away. So you're gonna lengthen your right leg out, draw your left foot close to that inner thigh. Again, hips pointing forward, you find the sit bones underneath you, long neck and spine, keeping that foot flexed. And we'll inhale those arms overhead. And we'll fold down onto this leg again, hands drop where they do. Keep your chin lifting, your heart pointing forward. We're stretching the back of the leg, not the back and the neck area in this stretch. So just gazing out, breathing into this. Next inhale takes us up into the twist to this left side. Again, we're not pulling into the twist. We're inhaling, lengthening the spine. Twisting from the waist on the exhale. One last breath. Come forward. We're opening this leg at 45-degree angle. Draw that left foot over to meet. We're getting into that side body stretch. So anchoring, finding the twist from the waist, but we secure the arm first. So the arm anchors inside the leg, maybe grab some part of something, and then begin to open up from the waist here. We're opening, we're twisting here, trying to stack the shoulders before we reach that arm up to the sky again. That's a lot right there. That can be enough. But if you're practiced and you know you want a little more this morning, I just encourage you, go slow. Don't rush it. It's not worth tearing and injuring and taking yourself out for a while. It's not worth it. So go slow, really noticing, attuning to your body. Taking one last breath here. Next inhale, we fold down over this leg. Breathe here. Inhale, lift up. This left hand anchors behind that left hip. This right arm reaches up. Maybe we push out, getting deeper into that modified wild thing. And we're going to flow this with the breath 3 times. Inhaling, forward fold. Exhaling, modified wild thing. Last one. Good, we'll come into cobbler's pose next. So from here, you're going to draw your feet together, your knees wide. If you've got blocks around, you're really tight in your hips and you can't get very low with your knees, your blocks right here. Shove them into the sides to offer some support, can be a really nice tool. If you're able to draw those feet closer, it just means you've been practicing a little longer. That's all that is. Every one of us is exactly where we need to be. Don't grab hold of your feet. That's the tendency, is to grab hold. Let the feet kind of press together on their own. And then I want you to grab your ankle. I want you to leave your toes alone right here and just grab hold of the ankle and then press the elbows into the knee area, calf area. Stay flat backed as you fold forward. You're staying flat back. We're pressing into these inner thighs. We're opening up through the inner thigh area with this motion. Just breathe into that. We're gonna open up into straddle stretch from here. So lift your upper body, back up. You're gonna take the legs wide. If that doesn't feel right to you, do one at a time. So you can keep one foot in and one leg out and do one-legged straddle stretch. If this doesn't feel good to your body, having both legs out, know that is a way you can modify this. With a flat back, staying nice and flat, not rounding until I say, you're gonna walk out. So you're walking out as far as you can go, staying flat in your back, not rounding, also connected in the hips. For some of you, it's not gonna be very far. You're tight and you're brand new, and that's okay. Just allowing your body to be where it is. I've been 10 years practicing. I can go far in this. Don't judge yourself based on where I'm going in this pose. My hips are connected. They did not pop up. My back is flat. I came as far as I want to come today, and I let my elbows come down. I relaxed into this. And from here, I am going to C-curve my spine. I'm going to tuck my chin in, let the spine curve a little bit. My feet are still flexed, protecting the knees, the thighs, the inner thighs, the groin area. And I'm just breathing into this wide hip opener. While we're down here, walk over toward that right leg slightly. Walk over toward the left leg, take a breath there. Back down the center, see if you can come out a little bit further, and we take 3 more breaths here. Inhale, we walk back in. We carefully draw our knees together. Go slow, right? Go slow. It gets tight when we're out there for a while. And then hands on the mat, just windshield wiper those knees side to side again, a little closer together than we were last time. It's okay. And we're going to end in seated position today. We've got a couple more stretches, but I'm going to take you into final resting pose in your seated position today. And there's a reason for that and why we're ending class in that way. One leg in front as we end in some final stretches, hip opener, as well as some upper body stretches, taking us to our final resting. So from here, just my necklace a little bit as it's choking me. We're going to take that left hand on the ground, reach the right overhead. Right away, I'm turning my palm away, opening my shoulder up. We're going to flow this. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale into that side body stretch. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, stretch. One more. You'll spread your arms wide at shoulder height. The opposite arm of the leg in front, so that would be this arm for me because this leg's in front, is going to come on top. Eagle arms, we find shoulders or palms together. Wherever our hands land, stay there. Lift the elbows up to your chin, stretching deeper behind the shoulders. Tighten the belt around your waist. You're going to fold forward slightly. It's not a big movement. Keep the hips connected. If they came up, you went too far. Pull back. Stay flat in your back. Sway slightly gently, side to side, turning on the oblique muscles, getting a little bit of ab work here as we close out with final stretches for the hips and shoulders, swaying side to side, turning on the obliques, staying long through the neck and spine, not tucking the chin. One more pass each side. You'll come down center, drop your arms in front of you, and round down, tucking the chin, deep curve through the spine, maybe elbows all the way on the floor. Maybe the block lifts the floor to you. This is your hip opener on that leg that's in front, breathing into that. Last breath. Lifting the upper body, we'll just switch the leg that's in front and we'll twist this time. So we'll start on this right side, twisting to the right with the inhale. I'm sorry, inhaling into the twist and then exhaling into it. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale into the twist. Inhale overhead. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms long, shoulder height. Opposite arm this time in front. Eagle, arms this side. Shoulders or palms, lifting elbows up to chin height. Tighten belt, fold slightly forward, not too far. Begin to sway. Noticing the stretch behind the shoulders, noticing the strength in the core as you're slightly swaying side to side, noticing if your hip is talking to you. One more time, each side. Coming through center, dropping down in front with the arms, really tucking the chin, curving the spine, and breathing into the hip opener on this side. A few breaths. Last breath. Good, inhale up. You can stay where you are. If you prefer to switch the legs out again, like I do, I like to always land with this leg in front. It's just my preference. So I'm going to switch my legs out. You can stay right where you are. Find an easy seated position. What feels easy and right for you. And then we're going to do a little bit of breath work here at the end. Closing out the practice, final resting pose with some breath work and just noticing the body. So I want you to take one hand on your heart and one hand at your abdomen. And it doesn't matter which one it is, you choose. But one hand on your abdomen and one hand on your heart. And we're going to do the four-part box breath for several rounds, just getting our heart rate variability completely balanced, resonating the mind with the heart. You can close your eyes or you can stay open and maybe just slightly gazing down. The four-part box breath is a 4-count breath in, a 4-count hold, a 4-count breath out, and a 4-count hold at the bottom. So that you are creating a box with the breath, and I will count us. Starting with that inhale for 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Last round. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Allowing the arms to drop to the knees, palms up, perhaps thumb and first finger finding each other. Breathing on your own, eyes closed or heavy. Just notice the breath coming in smooth through the nose, out long and smooth through the nose. Stay focused on the breath. Do a scan from the top of your head down through the sides of the face, the jaw area, into the throat, down through the shoulders. You're looking for any spot that needs a little extra breath or TLC, anything where you want to just stay for a moment and breathe down the arms, down the torso, the chest, the rib cage, the abdomen, the wrists, the fingers, now in the hips, the pelvic floor area, the tops of the thighs, coming down the hamstrings into the knee area, scanning down through the calves, down into the ankles, into the heel, down through the feet, the arches, the ball, the toes, wiggling toes, breathing here. Increasing your breath, waking yourself back up. If you started to drift off, maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes, you can wiggle those eyes back open. And I just took you into silent meditation without you perhaps realizing that's where you went. And if you thought you could never do a silent meditation, well, you just proved yourself wrong, Divine Legend. And I wanted to introduce that to you in this class because silent meditation is magical. And I invite you to do silent meditation longer than we did. All right, let's take our last breath together. We are gathering all this infinite peace, infinite love, infinite wisdom. Breathe up. Gathering all the infinite that is around, within, without, gathering it, pushing it, inviting it deeper into our hearts to share with our family, our friends, our neighbors, even those that trigger us. The divine, unconditional light of magical love within me honors, delights, sees that same unconditional, divine, infinite, magical light of love within you, Divine Legend. And together we say, Namaste. And thank you for coming to play with me today. Bless you.